Yo! Welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live. We're your number one source of the peaceful Bitcoin revolution with your breaking news, culture, mimetic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. Speaking about the separation of money and state, one of the leading presidential candidates in Argentina, huge Bitcoin fan, and he is exposing the scam that is central banking. Massive deal. Now, normally these types of candidates wouldn't be so popular, but you have to understand, and we've made the case for you guys many times on this show, right, that in the developed world, Alex Gladstein calls it the financial privilege. People don't have this great incentive to adopt something like Bitcoin, right? Because the inflation rate is relatively stable, the currency is relatively stable. They have developed financial rails, but in, Jeff Booth calls it the global South, right? That is not the case whatsoever, right? The inflation rate in Argentina is absolutely bonkers. We're going to get into the details of all this. So when people over there, politicians over there are talking about the scam of central banking, it resonates with people a lot more than it would resonate with people here. The fact is that people don't really care until something breaks, and you can make the argument that something has been broken for a very, very long time over there. So we're going to get into the details of all of that. We bring the receipts like always. You guys know the deal. It's on Simply Bitcoin. First, I want to introduce awesome guests. He's come on the show multiple times. Toxicat, how you doing? Welcome back to the show.
Yo, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Simply Bitcoin. Let's do this.
Boom, boom, boom. And of course, my legendary co-host, always optimistic. How you doing, Opti?
Yo, Toxic, that was hilarious. I'm doing wonderful, man. It's Friday, another day in paradise, another day of giving people that Bitcoin signal, keeping people focused on the mission. So, man, this is very interesting. And before I say it in the news segment, man, this Argentina candidate, he looks like a Who member, bro. Like, he looks like a 70s classic rocker. Like, this is a throwback from the past. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And in the culture, guys, we dropped a really good article at the beginning of the week. It's called Bitcoin Injustice. And at the end of the week, this morning, the Financial Times dropped an article literally taking the opposite side of the coin. And so we're going to counter some of this nonsense and give the real signal from a Bitcoiner perspective.
Absolutely. Really excited. This is the Friday show and then the weekend. Oh my God. Anyways, everybody, let's get to numbers. Let's do this.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Brought to you by NODL. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse because now you can run a NODL through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right, everybody. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 16,814. Sats per dollar is 5,947. Block height 770,667. 676, my bad. Reachable Bitcoin nodes 14,944. Blocks to the halving 69,324. Halving estimate April 26, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity 5,159 Bitcoin. Capacity value 86 million US dollars, and the realized monetary inflation 1.76%, and the market capitalization of Bitcoin, we're sitting pretty at $323 billion with a B. Anyways, I have a clip for you guys. This is a presidential candidate of Argentina, and he is saying the quiet part out loud. I can't believe that this is where we are in the movie. Because this clip is in Spanish, I'm going to have to pause it every so often and translate specifically for our audio listeners. Anyways, let's check out the clip.
De Bitcoin todo el tiempo. No sabemos bien qué son los Bitcoin, pero ya hay gente que lo pondera como una especie de alternativa monetaria. ¿Vos creés que es posible en Argentina esa discusión?
So basically the guy's like, what is Bitcoin? What's this going on? Is this even possible? Should this even be part of the discussion? And this is where this political candidate is going to answer.
A ver, ¿cuál es el punto? El punto es que lo primero que hay que comprender es que el Banco Central es una estafa, ¿sí? Es un mecanismo por el cual los políticos estafan
Ujú.
a las personas de bien con el impuesto inflacionario. El Bitcoin lo que está representando es la vuelta del dinero a su creador originario, que es el sector privado.
So absolutely mind blowing, right? He's basically saying, look, so what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is an answer to central banking. Central banking, you know, he called it. He's like, central banking is a scam, right? It's a scam by politicians. It hurts the people via the inflationary tax, right? Bitcoin is an answer. And what Bitcoin is going to do is return money back to the private sector.
El dinero es una invención del sector privado para resolver problemas, digamos, lo que tiene que ver con, en una economía de trueque sería la doble coincidencia y la indivisibilidad, y después aparece el papel, digamos, como una cuestión de portabilidad.
Ujú.
O sea, porque en realidad vos tuviste distintas monedas, o sea, tuviste el lino, el trigo, digamos, la sal, de ahí viene salario,
Ujú,
de ahí
sí.
la superstición de si se cae la sal en la mesa. Y eso evolucionó y las monedas que eligieron los agentes, que fueron los individuos, eligieron la plata para las transacciones chicas, el oro para las transacciones grandes. Y eso después, digamos, como era un peligro cargarlo, entonces ¿qué hacían? Lo dejaban depositado y se llevaban un comprobante de que estaba eso ahí.
So he's talking about the history of money, right? He goes through commodities first, like salt. Then he mentions that silver was used for smaller transactions, and then gold was used for bigger transactions. So he's going through the history of money and basically how we got here. And the fact that this is talked about in mainstream Argentinian media is a very, very big deal. So anyways, I kind of want to give a little bit more context as well, right? This are some information about some background information about Argentina and why, you know, why this type of candidate is so popular. And I'm going to get into the numbers, but let's take a look at the inflation rate in Argentina, right? Because you have to understand, right? When a politician says the inflation rate theft or tax here in the US, we have the financial privilege of having a, you know, if you believe the CPI numbers, a 7%, roughly 7% inflation, right? Argentina was just reported for this month, October 2022, according to tradeonomics.com, the Argentinian inflation rate was 88%. And the following month, it was 92.4%. So when a politician says inflation is theft and the inflation rate is 92%, it resonates a lot more with the people. You're like, you know what? He might be onto something. And not only was he pointing out that inflation was theft, he was saying that Bitcoin is a response to that, and Bitcoin is going to move money back into the private market, which, think about it. We're always advocating for separating money from state, fix the money, fix the world. If it's not in the state's hands, where is it, right? So this is crazy. I think this is a common language that all Bitcoiners speak, even though we might not even understand what it is we're saying, but there is a common language there, and that common language is Bitcoin. So this is the popularity of the candidate, because obviously, you know, there's always going to be a candidate that says certain things that you resonate with, but that's one thing. But does that candidate even have a chance to be elected is another thing, right? So if you look at the opinion polls of the presidential candidates, so this guy, his name is Javier Milei, right? And according to a lot of these polls, he's up there in terms of popularity, right? So, you know, obviously there's different polls say different things, but it looks like he's head to head with a politician called Christina Kirchner, and Javier Milei is up there as well. So these are the two leading, and then apparently there's some guy called Horacio and some lady called Patricia, but you could tell that it's really between Christina, according to these polls, and Javier Milei. So this guy has a chance. It's not guaranteed, but he has a chance. And if you look at hypothetical scenarios, right, he's sitting pretty at 12%, right? So it's absolutely crazy, absolutely nuts. And remember, this isn't only happening in Argentina. Recently, the Conservative Party of Canada elected a pro-Bitcoin leader, Pierre Poilievre. And Pierre Poilievre was saying very similar things about central banking. Obviously, it wasn't as intense as Javier, but it's under different circumstances. Canada isn't experiencing 92% inflation, right? I think the wording from Mr. Pierre would be totally different if the country was experiencing 92% inflation. So this is crazy. And remember, all it takes is one break, right? All it takes is one of these guys to get elected. And then what that's going to show is it's going to show to the world that the standard operating procedure that we've been doing for the last 100 years, right, isn't working anymore, and there's a better way. El Salvador is already proving that, right? And it's going to continue to prove that. But if it happens in a much bigger country like Argentina, like Canada, it's a much, much bigger and much more impactful statement, right? It's a very strong statement. Think about the shot across the bow that would send, right? It's like, look, it's not about the IMF. It's not about this, whatever. It's the fact that they've been printing too much money. It's a tax on everybody, regardless of what political party you're from. And the answer is Bitcoin. It's a very strong statement, and it makes them tremble in their boots, which is why they're so aggressive, which is why they just ostracize these people. These people are crazy. They're nuts. You can't trust them, whatever, because they can't debate the idea at face value. They have absolutely no chance of doing that. So they just try to character attack these people, right? And just try to shut them up, not address what it is they're saying. They attack their character, right? Really interesting what happens. Let's see where it goes. But so far, based on my research, it looks like this guy, Javier, is the first or second most popular presidential political candidate in Argentina. And he's a huge fan of Bitcoin. Not only is he a huge fan of Bitcoin, he's also talking the truth about central banking. So, and think about where we are in the movie, right? Pierre Poilievre is saying this in the halls of Parliament in Canada. You have Nayib Bukele saying it on one of the most popular shows in America, Tucker Carlson Tonight, Tucker Carlson Today. And now you have an Argentinian politician that could be theoretically elected for president that is saying the same thing. Fiat currencies are a scam. Inflation is theft. Central banking is a problem. And Bitcoin is awesome. Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, it was just like, wow, he was not pulling any punches. I know we didn't get the perfect translation over here of everything was saying, but come watch the show, guys, and just, or find that clip, because he did not pull one punch. What do you say? Like, central banks, they're a scam, full stop, by which politicians are able to cheat the public. Like, what kind of politician out there in the States, we're Americans, are saying this stuff, just absolutely insane. And also, he goes into the mentioning the double coincidence of wants, and how, I'm pretty sure he was going to go into how gold failed. And Andres in the chat, he's like, yo, he read the Bitcoin standard. You can tell that he did his research. He knows what he's talking about. So absolutely amazing. And dude, you just love to see it. And of course, man, we said it on the show a lot of times before. It's very interesting how third world countries will be the first ones to adopt Bitcoin, because they see the problem. And if any other country out there can see the problem, the Argentinians can see the problem. They need Bitcoin. Their government has debased their currency. They're in hyperinflationary realms. They've been getting decimated. They need to be able to save in something that doesn't lose 10, 20, 30% overnight. It's insane that the fiat currencies are the status quo right now, and people don't understand that their politicians are out here scamming them and robbing them. And all you really have to do is take Bitcoin into self-custody. I'm a huge fan of Moon right now. Take back your life. And someone mentioned on Twitter that he might have an uphill battle. It seems like he's up against some World Economic Forum lackeys. So it'll be interesting to see what the population and the Argentinians start to believe out there, if they hear this message and become Bitcoiners, or whether they think he's a crackpot or something. But I mean, dude, he spit he spit the truth. This is what us Bitcoiners have been saying for a long time. And it's going to be very interesting to see if the effects that this will have on Argentina, and if Argentina will change and go on the Bitcoin standard, and we'll see the same things that we've seen a la El Salvador. So, man, it's almost like Bitcoiners stay winning.
So you said something really interesting, right? Which is like, is this guy a crackpot? You have to understand though, like under normal circumstances, you could say that. The problem is that that's not the problem. The thing is, it's not under normal circumstances. This is 92% inflation. So people don't care about, let's talk about his hair. He looks like someone said a Wolverine, right?
He looks like a Who member from the 70s. Classic rock guitarist.
Time traveler. So people don't care about that when you have 92% inflation. But what people care about when they have 92% inflation is a solution to get out of that mess. Now, that could strike both ways, right? When people are desperate, they're just thinking about the solution. They're not thinking about the consequences of electing a person, right? But what I'm trying to say is that the current economic climate in Argentina is in a certain place where these types of politicians that are saying these types of things could be viable. It could work. I think under normal circumstances, I would agree. I don't think that, what he was saying would resonate with a lot of people, but even 92% inflation, this guy's going up saying, hey, Bitcoin's the solution. Inflation is theft. You can bet your bottom dollar that a big percentage of the Argentinian population is looking at him and be like, maybe what he is saying is true. What's going on there? Maybe it's time to try something new, because we've been trying this system of, vote, whatever it is in your country, vote left, vote right. But clearly it's not working for everybody, right? What Bitcoiners are advocating for is it's not the political system or the economic system that's broken. It's the money that's broken. If you fix the money, you fix the world. Anyways, Toxic Cat, what are your thoughts on this guy and his hair?
Oh man, here we go. So I'm gonna go full Bitcoin maxi on both of you fucking status cuck loving motherfuckers, because let's be real, nobody's gonna save you. Loving status politicians isn't gonna save you. Name the last time a government official was elected into a position of power that changed your life day to day. It didn't happen. It's not the way it works. Look at Brazil. The guy that had the most votes and the most popularity, did he win? He didn't win. He did not, because the people in power with the dark forces of the WEF are going to have their way regardless of what the people want. The only way that we win is when people take Bitcoin into self-custody and use circular economies and create self-defense technology using encryption with apps like Signal, make themselves impossible to tyranny from their governments. And then that's when we win, because we force the governments to do what we want them to do, because in the end, that's all they should be, is a service to us.
100%.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking boy.
Amen to that. But I'll push back on you a little bit, Toxic Cat. I think that overall politicians Bitcoin eventually will make them powerless, but during this transition period, I think that they could definitely make the lives of people very, very difficult. And what I'm looking at, like on a macro scale, is I want more countries to follow the path of El Salvador, because it's that joke that I always make to Opti, right? It's like, dude, if it fails here in the US, if they ban it, if they 612 it, we're all going to have to move to El Salvador. How dope would it be to say that? But we could say, we're all going to have to move to El Salvador or Argentina, right? It's like, that's, and then that list is just going to keep getting longer and longer and longer. So as much as we hate politics, as much as we hate politicians, as much as, politicians, whatever, right? I think, it'd be stupid not to at least pay attention, right? Not to keep an eye out. I would love for there to be more Bitcoin friendly countries. And this is a very big country, right? This is like, just as Canada looks very promising with Pierre. Argentina looks very promising as well with Javier. But let's see the way the cookie crumbles. Anyways, everybody, let's check out the news. Lots to talk about.
The Daily News.
Brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions. Scan and display QR codes directly on the device to sign transactions and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as the Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, and Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin. All right, everybody, a lot to talk about. Lots of breaking news. So this was kind of a big deal coming out of New York. This is a Washington Post article. Bad news for thousands of crypto investors. They don't own their accounts. A judge rules that Celsius owned their money. The news comes as the New York State Attorney General files a lawsuit against the collapsed crypto firm's founder. The article is dated January 5th, 2023. Goes on to say more than 500,000 people who deposited money with collapsed crypto lender Celsius Network have been dealt a major blow to their hopes of recovering their funds, with the judge in the company's bankruptcy case ruling that the money belongs to Celsius and not to depositors. Quote, the cryptocurrency assets became Celsius's property. That's what Judge Martin Glenn said. On Thursday, New York Attorney General Lolita James moved to impose a kind of order, or at least legal repercussions, on Celsius founder Alex Mashinsky, whom she accused in a lawsuit of defrauding hundreds of thousands of consumers. Goes on to say, and while Glenn's ruling won't affect FTX, whose terms of use were different, some analysis saw the ruling as spreading beyond Celsius. Quote, there are many other platforms that feature terms of use that are similar to Celsius, said Aaron Kaplan, a lawyer with the financial focus firm of Kaplan Newsom and co-founder of his own crypto company. Customers need to, quote, understand the risks that they are taking when depositing their assets into insufficiently regulated platforms. I'll push back on that a little bit. And I said this on BTC Sessions News Roundup last night. I said, now that you have the technology to take self-custody of your wealth and not trust other people with your money, why do people still continue to trust other people with their money, right? And like a lot of people were looking for a legal remedy. There you go. The supposed legal remedy just spit in your face and said, no, those funds never belong to you. Were you told that? Or, you know, if you left your funds on Celsius and Celsius advertised that? No, you trusted someone else. You took someone's word for it. Right? Remember, Gemini Earn, very similar situation. People were searching for yield. There was no yield. There was yield as soon as the market was going up. As soon as the market wasn't going up, there absolutely wasn't no yield. And this is when the Bitcoiners were vindicated, because Bitcoiners have been screaming the entire time, right? Not your keys, not your Bitcoin, take self-custody. And that's how you could have avoided this mess, right? Is avoid trusting someone else with your money. It comes down to that very basic fundamental principle. If you don't have to trust somebody else with your money, why do people continue to trust somebody else with their money? Like it's not going to end well. And I think that's exactly what happened here. It didn't end well. Not only did it not end well, it blew the F up, right? And now the legal remedy that a lot of people were searching for, the judge basically says, you know what? Sorry, guys, can't help you. It would never belong to you. It actually belonged to the company that scammed you, and you're going to have to deal with them. Like, dude, like, holy cow. Yeah, bro. It's another lesson, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Opti, what are your thoughts? And then we'll move on to Toxic Cat.
Well, now, as much as Toxic Cat is going to call us status, now we have legal precedent for what Bitcoiners have been saying for a while now. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Leaving your Bitcoin leaving your Bitcoin on an exchange literally means that it's not your Bitcoin until you take that Bitcoin into self-custody using Jade or Moon Wallet or all the other wallets I've endorsed over the time on this show. You need to take your Bitcoin into self-custody or else you will get wrecked. If it's on an exchange, it's no better than a Bitcoin IOU. It's essentially paper Bitcoin, and we've seen how much damage that has caused in 2022. And now we have, again, legal precedent for this. So, guys, this is all like, it's a very simple process. Just take your Bitcoin in self-custody using the 12 to 24 seed words that you use in a wallet that you control, and you can avoid this fate because, as Nico was saying, this is a story as old as time. If you trust someone with your money, they will abuse that trust and you will get wrecked. We have the tools to opt out of this madness. You do not have to follow this anymore. Just use Bitcoin, take Bitcoin into self-custody. I'm becoming a huge fan of Moon. There's Blue Wallet, there's Pine, there's Phoenix, there's did I say Blue Wallet? There's Green Wallet, there's Jade, there's Cold Card, there's Seed Signer, there's Sparrow, there's Spectre. Like, there's a bunch of trade-offs to these wallets, and you can pick and choose which ones are your favorite. But I've used all of these. I love all of these. And you do not leave Bitcoin on an exchange, guys. It is not a wallet. It is not safe there. It is not your Bitcoin until you take it off in exchange.
100%. And I think, Bro Baby had a great comment. They say, how is the cash you keep in your bank account and any different than leaving Bitcoin itself? It's not. It's not. You're still trusting someone else with your money. Banks are fractionally reserved. Not anymore. They moved that to 0% now. But, banks are, theoretically fractionally reserved. So they only keep a percentage of people's deposits on hand. The rest they lend out to other people. Right. And, back in the 1930s is what happened. There's a lot of bank runs, and the way that the U.S. government gave people confidence into depositing their money in the bank, right, is they said banks are now government insured. The infamous FDIC insurance. If you step into a bank, there's always a plaque that says your deposit is insured up to $250,000 by the U.S. government. But where's the U.S. government going to get that $250,000 from, right? So, that's a really good question. And I would say, fine, it's a legal remedy. It's a legal remedy, just like this judge, right? But who says, some bureaucrats and politicians snaps his fingers like, no, that doesn't work anymore. What we are saying is, if you don't have to trust anybody, why put yourself in that position when you don't have to anymore, right? And remember, because you don't have to anymore, because you don't need them anymore, that drives them crazy because they get a lot of power from holding other people's money. Toxicat, what are your thoughts on all this, bro?
The last time I was on this show, we were talking about BlockFi and Celsius, and here we are again, 2023, new year, same old bullshit. Still Celsius nonsense, and I'm agreeing with Bayou Baby. Your money, your 401k, your pension in the government funds, that's all at will to be rug pulled whenever they deem fit. It all works until it doesn't.
Absolutely. Amen to that. It all works until it doesn't. So another component of it that I wanted to bring up and talk to you guys about is this creeping regulation, right? So we know how Elizabeth Warren feels in the US. We've talked to you guys about it, right? She is very unlikely to pass this bill, but she wants software developers in the United States to register with the government to get a license to work on Bitcoin. Absolutely nuts. She also brought up the term hosted wallet, unhosted wallet, and in Europe, it looks like they're doing the same. In Europe, there was a point where, and Elizabeth Warren said this too, is that all unhosted wallet software would have to register with the government, right? So, and it looks like this is the direction they want to go in. And I suspect it has nothing to do with regulation. I suspect it has to do with, holy crap, this is our competition. Our competition's better than us. So therefore we must regulate it because, anyways, it goes on to say French central bank head wants crypto licensing ahead of MiCA standards. Goes on to say Bank of France Governor Francis Villot is pressing for stricter regulatory requirements for crypto companies in France. This would be ahead of the European Union's landmark markets and crypto assets, the MiCA regulation, which would establish a block-wide licensing regime for crypto firms and is scheduled to be voted on in February for implementation in 2024. Obtaining a license in France for digital asset service providers is currently optional, and no providers currently have one, according to Bloomberg. About 60 firms do have the less stringent registration designation from French Market Authority, AMF. So, dude, it's just the slow creep. It continues to go up. I do not believe that this so-called regulation comes from a noble place. I think it comes from a place of is a threat to us, right? Christine Lagarde slipped up. She said it for what it is. She's like, we must close the escape valve. If there's an escape valve, people are going to use it. And I absolutely agree, right? I think that this is more so trying to stifle competition rather than regulation to protect the people. If they really cared about the people, they would stop printing money. And then I'll go to this point. If the people that stand the most to lose, if Bitcoin succeeds, are the ones tasked with enforcing it, implementing so-called regulations, aren't they incentivized not to implement good regulations? I want more politicians like Pierre, like Javier of Argentina, speaking the truth rather than regulation. How about you actually talk about what is actually hurting people in the real time, which is the scam of central banking, which is inflation as well. Opti, what are your thoughts, bro?
Well, you know, I think this is just like you said. Of course, this is that slow creep that we try to do on this show. Just continuously be aware of this, but you know, it just shows to me what we say all the time. You know, French central banks just or all central banks in general, but the French central bankers just hate their citizens. And the French, if they enact this, can just have fun staying poor. You know, like this will not do what they say or think it will do. This will just force Bitcoin entrepreneurs outside of their jurisdiction, and the EU will just continuously get more wrecked, as we've seen last year. They just, dude, they're trying to inflict even more pain on the citizens. And I think this is just following suit. So, you know, French get wrecked. And to your point, man, this is all about control, like full stop. We know what it is. Like you said, you know, if you compare fiat system to the Bitcoin system, Bitcoin is better on all metrics, and they're afraid of this. This is the they're afraid meme, you know, and it's cute that they're trying to stop the advancement of human civilization, but Bitcoin will literally route around them and they can't control it. And French Bitcoin entrepreneurs will just, you know, not sign up for a license, and they will just move and vote with their feet and their money to somewhere else. And, you know, whether it's El Salvador or some other country, like Bitcoin entrepreneurs will just leave your jurisdiction. This is the beauty of Bitcoin. You can vote with your feet and your pocketbook. Like, this is a feature, not a bug. So here we are.
Amen to that, brother. Toxic Cat, what are your thoughts on all this, bro?
Let's just boil it down to simple facts. People follow incentives, not laws. You can regulate and do whatever you can about this system. I mean, what are they going to do? Go door to door and knock on every door and check every computer and laptop and Raspberry Pi in everybody's house? It's an enforceable law. It's just them LARPing, pretending they're actually doing something when they're justify their 6-figure paychecks where they sit on their ass and deliberate in their chambers for hours on end for nothing. They don't do anything productive. These are the parasites of society, and this is what Bitcoin is made for, to destroy these people's livelihoods.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you know, you put it that way, destroying their livelihoods. I mean, look, I would say it's not so much about destroying their job. It's that their job is like, specifically if you're a central banker, like your job hurts other people, right? Like it's not like it's this noble job where it's like, oh, we're destroying your life. No, it's like, dude, like, do you think Christine Lagarde, you know, what she does is a net benefit to humanity? I would say no, she's stealing from people. Even if she thinks she's good intentioned, right? The fact is, right, that central banking is theft. Like central banking is, I would say central banking is a bigger threat to the human race than anything. Like it's a wealth redistribution mechanism from the lower and middle classes to the very wealthy in the government. It's a scam. It empowers politicians, right? Pays for these endless wars, right? And Bitcoin is a way out. So I would say that, yeah, it's fine. It's a threat to their livelihood, but their livelihood hurts other people tremendously. It steals from other people, right? Central banking it must end. And I think that Bitcoin is the answer. Anyways, everybody, let's check out the culture. Lots to talk about.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today.
Sorry, I didn't get it up as quickly today, but hey, here we are. I got the culture, and like I told you guys, we dropped an awesome article on our Substack, simplybitcoin.news. I'm basically going to cover what we wrote because the Financial Times, again, the Fiat Times, just continues to roll out atrocious journalism. And for those listening on the audio, I got this article here from the Financial Times, and it's titled "New Year, New Crypto Shakeout." Plus what you missed over the holiday break. And so before I read just like the first paragraph of this framing or of this article, I think the framing that we want to notice here is that the Fiat Times is trying to dissuade people from joining Bitcoin by lumping Bitcoin and shitcoins or crypto together. And they're making it seem like all the stuff that we just covered in the news and the numbers, that the crypto problems are Bitcoin's problems, and they're doing their best to obfuscate all this so that people get wrecked. And it's absolutely atrocious that they continue to write this dribble and just continue to cover for Fiat Standard, aka the Fiat Times. So here we go. Here's the first paragraph or so, and then I'm going to jump into what the Bitcoin perspective is as we dropped on our Substack. So he goes, "Hello and welcome to the first 2023 edition of the Fiat Times Crypto Finance Newsletter. This week, we're taking a look at whether crypto turned over a new leaf after a grim 2022. Spoiler alert, it did not. Some of the crypto's industry's biggest names have been embroiled in clashes with regulators and prosecutors in the opening days of 2023, showing the issues that plagued the sector in 2022 are already spilling into the new year. Reality never resets on January 1st, and that truth applies to crypto. The shakeout will continue. There will be more shoes to drop, more victims of contagion, more clients who learn their money is lost." Charlie Cooper, managing director at blockchain firm R3, told him, the Fiat Times, via Thursday. And then the rest of this article goes into recapping a lot of the stuff that happened last year. And we dropped this article doing the same thing, essentially, but with the Bitcoin perspective, with the Bitcoin maxi perspective. And so shouts out to Wartime Bitcoiner who wrote this. And this is our article on our Substack, simplybitcoin.news, Bitcoin and Justice, Why Clown World is Morally Inverted and How Bitcoin May Help Change It. So this is a good one. I'm not going to cover the whole thing because there's a lot of sauce in here, but I'm going to cover the meat of this too. You don't have to read this Fiat Times article because they're basically saying the same stuff, but with the fiat bent to it. So as we close out 2022, it is important that we look back on the year and remind ourselves why we have Bitcoin in the first place. Many of us came into 2022 expecting to see Bitcoin rally back through all-time highs, through 100K and off to 250K. And while we pointed out shitcoin scams and the like, we were well and truly caught off guard with the level of fraud and shenanigans underlying much of the frothy price movement. So let's list them out. First, we had the shit show over at Luna with our friend Daquan. He was positioned as a wonder boy of the financial world. We have Mike Novogratz with the infamous Luna tattoo. And of course, this stupidity blew up and took a bunch of idiots, as we're writing here, not pulling punches with him. And the ramifications of Daquan, unknown. He disappeared. He's probably enjoying the money he scammed out of people on some island somewhere. Next, we had Three Arrows Capital and Suzu. And turns out they were leveraged up the wazoo with Luna and a million other shitcoins. And within a month, we had the classic contagion effect that we all felt last year. Again, I say it all the time. Shitcoins make us all look bad. And as the tide pulled back, it was very interesting to see what and who was naked in the shore. So anyway, Suzu decided to then disappear with God knows how much money, only to come back in Twitter Spaces 6 months later. And what happened to Three Arrows Capital and Suzu? Nothing. And Next, as we showed in the numbers, we had Celsius and Alex Mashinsky, one of the all-time greatest scammers of the internet age, building up his company, printed money out of thin air with the Celsius shitcoin. And when the contagion hit, they found out that there was actually no real money there, and they were likely using their customers' fund to keep their business afloat. At this point, it was becoming quickly evident that the entire crypto shit show was just one big insolvent Ponzi waiting to collapse. And of course, Mashinsky and his ilk blamed the Bitcoin maxis like Corey Clipston for causing his downfall, because we just wanted people to take Bitcoin into self-custody because they didn't have your Bitcoin. Anyways, it's like jumping off a cliff without a parachute and blaming the guy who told you about gravity for your death. A bunch of morons. And what's the ramification for Alex? Unknown, at least to this point. Nothing. He resigned and whatever. He's now apparently, is getting hit with some fines and all this. But anyways, more clown world justice. And we also had BlockFi on the list, and we'll get in the article, you'll get to that later. But the biggest one was Sam Bankman Fraud. The kid comes out of nowhere, builds the second largest exchange in the world in under 3 years while stuffing his face full of fake meat sausages and soy and living in a frat house with 10 employees. I just had to add this. And this was one of the most incredible swindles of the modern age. He put Bernie Madoff, Elizabeth Holmes, and Enron to shame combined. We're not going to get into the full details, but he defrauded tens of thousands of customers, or about $10 billion. And there's no two ways about it. Straight up internal movement of funds from one entity to the other, in the process gambling of it away and spending the other half on political donations and laundering money. Absolute insanity. And here's the kicker. He's walking around like nothing ever happened. Of course, he got arrested and he's on bail. But man, as we have a picture here, flying first class because he got out of prison because there was no vegan food. You can't make this shit up. Clown world on all-time high. But this is the point of why I wanted to counter the Fiat Times article with our own article, Bitcoin Injustice, because all these examples show one thing. The world is morally, socially, and psychologically broken. Up is down, down is up, bad is good, good is bad. Ross Ulbricht, who built a damn website for people to buy things off each other, is locked up for 2 life sentences, taking nothing and suffering the severest of punishment. We have Edward Snowden told the truth to the American people, and he's living in exile somewhere in Russia as if he's a criminal. Julian Assange is rotting in a cell somewhere for doing something similar to Snowden, for literally reporting on the truth. It's hard not to blackpilled in the face of such absurdity of the clown world justice, but there is some hope. And of course, it sounds cliche, it sounds trite to just say Bitcoin fixes this, but perhaps the institutions and organizations that have made such moral inversion possible are economically eroded to the point where they can no longer perform such injustices. It's my hope as a Bitcoiner that this happens within the lifetime of Ross, Julian, and Edward Snowden. And if there's a greater power out there, and if justice does ultimately prevail, then these individuals will see freedom, while the prior 4 I listed shall pay reparations. At the very least, in the future, on a Bitcoin standard, perhaps in the age of our children or our children's children, governance will be far more economically accountable, and such stupidity will be harder to get away with. And this is not something any of us can prove today, but it seems to make deep sense. The balance of this decade will be a battle indeed, and one in which justice must once again come to bear. Shouts out to Wartime Bitcoin. I think he absolutely slayed this article. And this is something we talk about all the time in the show. We even mentioned it in the numbers today. Bitcoin will, in time, prove everything we say to be true. It will ensure that governments are more frugal, that they do not create money out of nowhere, and then continue to propagate this injustice in this world. We are living, in my opinion, in peak fiat times, in peak clown world, and Bitcoin will rein in all of this madness, and it's only a matter of time. So to all the quote-unquote journalists out there that are continuing to write this FUD against Bitcoin, to continue to connect Bitcoin and shitcoins as one movement, you will in time be proven wrong, and the vengeance of the free market will come heavy. But Bitcoiners, just stay strong, continue to battle this FUD, continue to tell people to take Bitcoin into self-custody, and instead of complaining like all the people out there, you are taking action and you are solving these problems with the solution, which is Bitcoin, and telling people to take Bitcoin into self-custody, using Moon Wallet, using Blue Wallet, using Green Wallet, using Phoenix, using Zeus, using Cold Card, Seed Signer, Jade, Spectre, Sparrow, taking your money back and stop trusting people with your money. It's a simple process. Opt out of the madness. There will be justice in this world. Go read the rest of the article, Bitcoin and Justice, on our Substack. Man, I'm hyped up. I don't know. This is a good one. Shouts out to the Fiat Times for triggering me this morning, because I get to show one of our writers great articles. So anyways, Nico, what's your thoughts?
I love how you connect the dots, dude. I love how you connected the dots, and I love how you call the Financial Times the Fiat Times, because that's an appropriate name. But yeah, you compare the two. You compare the two, and if the money's a lie, why would anything be true? And one of the things that resonated with me when Jeff Booth came on Simply Bitcoin IRL a couple days ago is he's like, Bitcoin's going to make the truth important again, right? And we live in a world, as long as fiat and state money works the way it does, the truth isn't important in the eyes of politicians. Why would it be? They're not incentivized to tell you the truth. Maybe sometimes, but they're incentivized to get as close as humanly possible to the money spigot. And they're going to say anything to get close to it. So why tell you the truth if the truth actually might be counterproductive and get them farther away from the money spigot? So let's make the truth great again. And we do that by opting out. Bitcoin is the way. Separate money from state, fix the money, fix the world. Toxic Cat, what are your thoughts, brother?
Let's just put it this way. It's real simple. The 12th vote for Senate just failed. They're taking longer to vote who the next House of Representatives Speaker is going to be than they took to pass that $1.7 trillion spending bill. That's the peak clown world that we're in right now.
100%. 100%. It's total clown world. Let's Jeff said it the other day, man. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And really, like, Bitcoin provides this shining light of hope, and as clown world continues to accelerate, as they continue to lie, that $1.7 trillion omnibus bill that you just mentioned, Toxic Cat, that was the most blatant theft in your face, I don't care, I've seen in a very long time. 1.7 trillion is more than the GDP of most countries, right? And that is literally how much the U.S. government is deciding to spend in 1 year. How much of that money actually goes back to the American people, right? Like, people are struggling. People have to work 2 jobs. How much of that money goes to the American people, and how much of that money goes to cronies? How much of that money goes to well-positioned bureaucrats and politicians, right? And that's a very important question, right? And it's not a conspiracy theory. Remember, we pulled up the receipts, right? 60% of the Pentagon's budget is non-accounted for. 60%. Where's that money? Where's it going?
Black holes.
But we need your to tell me where you spent your $600 on Venmo.
Exactly. But the $600, we need to tell you, we need to know exactly where it's at, man. Like, this is clown world. It's all because of the money printer. Take away the money printer, a lot of these things would go away. Anyways, Opti, let's check out the meme review. Let's do it.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboomracks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboomracks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboomracks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboomracks.
All right. Kaboomracks. This is the meme review. This is your favorite portion of the show. Even though we give you guys all the signal, all the sauce every single day, everyone is always calling.
People don't care, dude. People are like, yo, let's get a skip.
Dude, show my memes, bro. Just show my memes on the show.
Just shut up. Show the memes.
Anyways, guys, I say it all the time. We are in an information war. You guys are the frontline soldiers. Continue to spread the truth. As Nico said in the past, tweets are the bullets and memes are the artillery. people don't like to think. So we put the truth, we put them in funnies, we put them in humor, and we put it in words and sayings so that people can get this bite-sized truth, because everyone's got ADD and now, and they can't, they can't take the time to read articles. So they need the snippets. Anyways, this first meme, shouts out to our boy, Mr. Robot, at the Bitcoin Doctor. And he tagged us in this, and this is hilarious. It's Nico's face. And it goes, "Good morning, Bitcoiner slavery." And then Nico just goes off into the sunset, just drops it on you, and then goes on. Lol, absolutely amazing. This next one. All right, so yesterday we dropped this news that apparently Harvard public policy professors proposing to tax proof of work to incentivize greener alternatives and curb environmental harm. And I just say this will just drive people away from the U.S. and not Bitcoin, even if you try to do this on a global standard. We talked about this in regard to the French central bank today, and it's the same idea. You're just going to drive people away from your jurisdictions. But I really like this meme right here by Bitcoin Best Sell One, and it goes, "Still waiting for your bit, bro. I'm waiting for your Bitcoin improvement proposal, because we are not going to change the code." And you got all these girls with little angel wings just waiting for the bips, bro. Just propose a bip, and we'll see if the market proposes this. This next one is by Spente at Bitcoin Ortho, bro, and I really love this one because, look, I even covered the Fiat Times today, and as we saw last year, legacy media is completely bought and paid for. You can't trust anything on the idiot tube. And so I had to put this one up here because the media breaks its neck trying to demonize humans and humanize demons. And we got this, television headed person over here. And I can't find another way to explain this. It really does feel like the legacy media out there tries to demonize humans and humanize demons. Like it's literally anti-human in my opinion. This next one, shouts out to our boy Copernicus at Copernicus's son 6 on Twitter, and he goes, "Someone is always attempting to psyop me. I stay humble and stack sats instead." And he's got this very vicious and positive feedback loop. I wake up, I stay humble, there's another psyop, so I stack sats. This is the Bitcoin cycle right here. The more they psyop us, the more I stay humble and just continue to stack sats. This next one, I felt this one. I don't know if I put this one on the show before, but it's a message that I will continue to reiterate. Shouts out to RDBTC, aka at RD_BTC. He says, "Go fuck yourself. Bitcoin. Vote blue." We got an NPC crying. No. Another NPC crying. Vote red. And a Bitcoiner is opting out and just says, "Go fuck yourself. I'm stacking Bitcoin. I'm taking my money out of the system." And this one, that's why I tagged you, Shire Hodl, at Shire Hodl on Twitter. It looks like he's watching Simply Bitcoin IRL. So we got a picture of Jeff Booth, and he goes, this is something that he said on our IRL this week. And when he said it, Nico and I were both just like, oof, like pure signal out there. And he goes, "Communism and capitalism are the same system under printed money." Oof. Absolute sauce. Oof. Fix the money, fix these systems, fix the money, fix the world. I hate to double down on the idea of true capitalism is not in the world, but hey, I got some memes for you guys tomorrow. But communism and capitalism are the same system under printed money. Let's take our power back, opt out of the madness, take Bitcoin into self-custody. We say it all the time. Anyways, I did a similar score yesterday, but this is a different score. I got a USB. I think this is USB-A to Lightning adapter cable. I have a bunch of cables over here because I'm an iPhone Maxi, whatever.
Well, Opti, I liked your score, but I'm going to give it this bowl of cereal.
Dirty. What's the cereal?
Special K. It's delicious.
Very fiat of you, Nico. Very fiat of you. My score is going to be the Bitcoin cards from BTC Cards. This is the cards that you can buy. They're really fucking cool. They got like little pool pictures, all hand drawn, and on the back side they have like educational material on the back, which are really fucking cool. So like we can orange pill your friends, with collectible trading cards.
Very, very nice. All right, guys.
Okay. Hold on. I think I forgot to say the drop your meme review score in the chat, but we already got some meme review scores in the chat.
No, before we get there, this is Simply Bitcoin Live. Drop your meme score in the live chat. I want to give a shout out to our awesome sponsor, representltd.com. Opti and I wear the merch all the time. This is a Simply Bitcoin merch. You got to go to the store, get yours. The supply is limited. There's a cap supply of Simply Bitcoin merch. So go to representltd.com, search Simply Bitcoin, or you can click the link down below. Take the advantage of the promo code simply-bitcoin, get 10% off anything on the store, representltd.com. Anyways,
right, we got some in here.
Let's get to some of them. First one by Bitcoin Ascent. I give those memes. Christine Lagarde's escape valve. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Crypto Potato. I rate the memes and orange cream soda memes. Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
Okay. Orange cream soda. I haven't had one of those in a minute.
Bitcoin Becca. I rate the memes with 21 Victoria's Secret angels, but not the woke angels from 2020s. That's hilarious.
Ooh la la. That's a good score.
The Pem and Van. I agree. Give the memes a motherfucking wrecked status cuck politician and Bukele burn. Oh man. Igor. I give the memes Michael Saylor's 3-letter agency badge. Next one. By Nihilist Field.
So hold on. Let's get some context here. Nihilist Fields is the complete opposite of Optimus Fields, and he is a devout, diehard fiat shill. So this is where we are. I think the Matrix has Nico. But anyways, the score. Oh, Nico's back. Okay, the score. Fiat banking's greatest invention. Number stay flat technology. Let's go. Okay. This next one, we got Frank Arn. He goes, I don't know. Is she a girl? I don't know. I give these memes a 4th day straight of technically no U.S. government and hopefully more to come. Let's go.
Very appropriate. Hotto Coin. I give the memes a Klaus Schwab horrific Speedo bridal pick demonic bugs. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Next one, Diogenes. I give the memes a bottle of hot sauce. I rub in my eyes. Remind me to be humble and stack sats. Very, very nice, bro. Mr. Robot, give the memes a block clock mini to piss off Elizabeth Warren. Very nice. Next one by Brandon. I give the memes an unlucky charm healthier than steak FUD article. Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
I think that's all we got so far. The rest of it is people trolling me.
It's the buzzer. We stopped because of the buzzer. Anyways, guys, check out Simply Bitcoin's Telegram group. It's absolutely free. Go to www.t.me/simplybitcointv. We're about to hit 700 people in there. It's a party.
No, there's 700. There's 700 in there. I saw this morning.
700. Whoop, whoop. All right, check out Simply Bitcoin Unfiltered. It's absolutely free. It's the written version of Simply Bitcoin. Go to www.simplybitcoin.news. Check it out today. Opti, software or plebsites?
It's a software, but it's a site. Yeah.
Bitcoin software release.
Brought to you by CipherSafe. Don't be that person that loses their Bitcoin seed due to fire damage, water damage, dog attacks. Back up your generational Bitcoin wealth on steel, and there's no better place to do it than the Cypher Grid by CipherSafe. And now check out their new Bitcoin art, the Bitcoin Rulux triangle, only on cyphersafe.io.
All right, Opti, what do you have?
Let's go. All right, so I saw this on Twitter. I think it was last week, maybe a little while ago. But anyways, Nunchuck at nunchuck.io, they introduced a Honey Badger wallet solution to safe self-custody and inheritance planning. I think this is a pretty cool initiative. I haven't tried this personally, but Nunchuck has really, really good review and a good reputation, and they're doing their best to try to ensure that you can pass on your Bitcoin to your family and your friends via inheritance. And, they're building the products out there that they want to see. So go check this out, nunchuck.io. They've introduced the Honey Badger wallet. Again, we're trying to push out that signal so people take in self-custody so they have as many options as they need to secure their Bitcoin. I think this is one of those cool initiatives out there. So anyways, Nico, let's wrap this one up, bro.
Let's wrap it up. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. I want to give a very special shout out to our awesome guest, Toxicat. Thank you so much for joining us today. Where can people find you online?
Toxicat27, that's TOXIKAT 27. And you can also find me every night, Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock p.m. on Spaces with Satoshi's Journal. We do Spaces 5 nights a week, educating the African continent about Bitcoin.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, that was another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. We love you all. Hope you have an amazing weekend. Number one thing you could do to help the show, smash the like button, like it. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. And of course, share the content. In fact, share all Bitcoin content. Spread the peaceful Bitcoin revolution forward. We love you all. We will see you on Monday for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live.